Welcome back to Steel City Live. I'm your host, Jason. As always, we are diving in here on what is this, Tuesday, Wednesday? I don't even know, my friends. Let's see, what is today? That would be Wednesday, December 18th, I believe. But we are live here on Steel City Live. Miss Pittsburgh in the house. What's up, Miss P? Good to see you, my friend. Let's go, Steelers Nation. Everybody hit the shit out of that like button and subscribe to the best show in town. It is right here on Mic Drop Sports. We started again a couple minutes early. I'm kind of digging this a little bit before 7 time frame. It kind of works for right now. So we're kind of just into this groove here about 10 till 7. It feels right. And it's something that has just been working out. So I apologize if that's an inconvenience to anybody that's a regular. I do apologize, but I'm trying to find that happy space here with my time frame. Downtown John Broadway in the house. But hey, we're here to talk Pittsburgh Steelers. We're here to talk NFL football. 4:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. December 21st, M&T Bank Stadium, the home of the Baltimore Ravens. The Pittsburgh Steelers go in and try to get a division title, try to secure the AFC North. So that is something very special, my friends, and we need to continue to have that discussion this week of what the Pittsburgh Steelers need to do, those feel the steel tight moments. We need to talk about that and exactly where I think the Steelers got to focus their attention and which players need to be on their game. Good news out of the Pittsburgh Steelers building on the south side of Pittsburgh. The Pittsburgh Steelers getting good news on TJ Watt. He is expected to suit up for this run at the division title, and that is ultra good news for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Let's hope they continue to get good news along the injury front here as the week progresses so they can be full tilt, full strength to go in there and try to catch that division crown. It is something that I'm really hoping for, considering I want to see both teams full strength. I want to see both teams have that full fight in them. I want to see a battle. I want to see a war at M&T Bank Stadium in Baltimore. I want to see that battle waged out there. Modern day gladiators, my friends. But I want to see both at full strength. That's where I need to see these football teams. I don't want to see anything less. And I know some people always like, I hope that player don't play. I hope that player don't play. Bullshit. I want to see a classic, baby. And when the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Baltimore Ravens meet up in Baltimore for the division title or in Pittsburgh for the division title, that's what it is. An instant classic is being put out there onto the screen for you and I to enjoy, for the fans inside of the stadium. Again, I have respect for the city of Baltimore's fans. Their football team, it's always a tough and rugged matchup. The Pittsburgh Steelers have owned that matchup for here in the recent future here, or in this recent present time. They've held that edge in those games, and they've definitely secured a lot of victories here. So we're going to hope that they continue that battle and continue that fight here in Week 16 of the NFL season. Can you believe it, guys? We are here already in Week 16. How awesome is that? To be in Week 16 already. It's kind of bittersweet, though. We wait all year. We talk all summer long. We go to the training camps. We talk about this team at a nauseating level. And we wish for this season to come, and all of a sudden it's here. All of a sudden we find ourselves in Week 16. All of a sudden we find ourselves in the thick of a division race and a chance to secure that division title. It's special, but yet it's like, shit, man. This ride's almost over. This ride is coming to an end here, and then hopefully in a couple months. That's what we want to see. Well, yeah, almost a couple months, about a month and a half. We want to see the Steeler team play well into the playoffs, well in deep into the winter here, and secure that title. Let's dive into the chat again. We talked to Miss P. We talked to Downtown Urio Jr. Hello. Let's delete this person. There's no moderators in here, so we need to put this user in timeout. Goodbye. Do not ever say racist things in my comments, please. We do not go that way here at Steel City Live and Mike Drop Sports. We are all about everybody, and if you got some racial slur to say in my chat, I'll be sure to make sure I report you to YouTube and try to get your account suspended. Let's keep going. Miss Pittsburgh, downtown. I think the Ratbirds are going to try to switch up their offensive scheme, trying to use screens and with Derrick Henry as an option. What do you think, Jason? I definitely think the Baltimore Ravens will attempt to do some different things. Definitely. I totally believe them to do that because of what's at stake here. I definitely believe they're going to try to come out and throw some monkey wrenches. I don't believe that they'll abandon their scheme in any way. I don't believe that they'll abandon their philosophy or drastically switch things up in order to play the Pittsburgh Steelers. What we have to realize here when you have these divisional matchups is this. The teams are so familiar with each other that no matter what they do, it really doesn't matter. These teams are so familiar. They understand the sets that these teams are going to be in. They understand the formations. They understand what they can do out of those formations. They understand their team philosophies. And there's nothing really that the Baltimore Ravens are going to be able to throw at the Pittsburgh Steelers here at a professional level that will really throw them off base. And I say this a lot, but maybe not in this context, how I'm saying it now. NFL teams are so tight, and I talk about the razor's edge, the razor thin margins in the NFL, and there is nothing an NFL team can do in terms of schematics that are going to be just some crazy earth-shattering type thing. Even if it's something new and wonky, it's something that, they know about and they can figure it out eventually. The Baltimore Ravens aren't going to come in here and reinvent the wheel is what I'm trying to say in M&T Bank Stadium on Sunday. There's nothing that they could really throw at the Steelers that they probably haven't thrown at them throughout the past here, considering they play each other sometimes 3 times in one season. Teams that make the playoffs that are historically good, they typically, if you're in the same division, you play twice in the regular season and usually once in the playoffs. That's usually how it shakes out. And we've seen many seasons as the Pittsburgh Steelers and Baltimore Ravens have played 3 times. So again, I don't think they're going to reinvent the wheel, but I look for them to come out and try to utilize Derrick Henry. The Steelers do an excellent job at corralling Derrick Henry. And I believe what the Ravens are really going to truly try to do is allow Lamar Jackson to push that football downfield and really try to utilize his skill set in terms of getting out of the pocket and throwing on the run, getting out and moving and giving that threat of a run, also that threat of the deep pass. And I think that is going to make those Steelers secondary players really be on edge and really have to be pushing the issue there because they got to respect that run with Derrick Henry. They have to respect the legs of Lamar Jackson, but yet they have to respect the pass game. And you're going to have to live and die by the sword here a little bit. You're going to have to respect that pass game enough that you can't cheat up, that you can't be crazy in terms of overplaying the run game. So that's the dynamic that the Steelers always have to deal with when you're playing Lamar Jackson. So again, I look for them to try to utilize that deep pass game with Lamar Jackson, that getting out on the run, throwing the deep pass, and also taking off if necessary. I look for Lamar Jackson to run an awful lot here on Saturday. I definitely think that that's going to be something the Ravens want to deploy. However, they have to really watch that, and they have to walk the fine line with that because they don't want to risk catastrophic injury to Lamar Jackson, allowing him to be overly used in the run game. So that's something that they have to really monitor and understand on their side of the coin. So again, I could see that screen game being somewhat effective. But again, I think it's going to be more of Lamar Jackson out on the run. And when you see those short passes, it's going to be players on drag drag routes, players in the short to intermediate game coming with Lamar Jackson as he's out on the run, utilizing those players to dump the football down. So I guess you could call them kind of like screens. Short to intermediate pass game, though, is going to be very important. I don't per se see them putting Derrick Henry out on a wheel route screen, hitting him here behind the line of scrimmage. I don't foresee them trying to hit him on a deep ball. That's not Derrick Henry's game, and I don't foresee him trying to be involved in that. I don't think it would work, and if they did do it, I'd welcome it because, again, I don't think that's Derrick Henry's forte. But anyway, again, they're not going to reinvent the wheel. I look for that situation that I just described to be the real MO on Saturday. And I look for the Steelers defense to be fast and aggressive. And in the thumbnail I put, it's time to let these monsters out, to unleash these beasts. And that is that outside linebacker room of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Yes, you have to have excellent play from that defense up front if you're the Steelers. But that outside linebacker room has to be ultra effective. And I really want to see a lot of those things that they were starting to try. Moving TJ Watt over a spot or two down into the defensive line, or moving him out and putting Nick Herbig in to shoot those gaps. I want to see maybe the incorporation of Preston Smith out there with another duo, combination of outside linebackers. I want to see them mix up those players very well and utilize their skill sets and allow them to put pressure on Lamar Jackson. You notice one thing that the Steelers do well, and that is retrace your steps. After you've submitted that pass rush and you've gotten that push, when that player, the quarterback, moves in and out of the pocket and they're starting to slide, you need to retrace your steps. Because why? Typically that quarterback is going to fill in where you just were. While you're applying that pass rush, they're going to be sliding up into the spot that you vacated in order to put that pressure on them. That's why they are going to make it a very important thing for them to do at the outside linebacker position of retracing your steps. And that goes that's all across that defensive front. Defensive linemen, they all got to do that too. And that's where you cause those turnovers, those coming from behind, punching the ball out, those types of things. Hitting that quarterback as they're trying to throw the ball downfield, maybe causing an errant throw. That's what they're looking for, man, if you're the Steelers and you're playing Lamar Jackson. But these outside linebackers got to come out, and they got to come out flying, man. All right, guys, I'll get back into the chat here a little bit. Make sure you're double tapping that screen, hitting that like button. If you're not subscribed, make sure you subscribe to the best damn show in America right here on Mike Drop Sports. That's Steel City Live, our daily live stream, talking Pittsburgh Steelers, talking NFL football, and hopefully here in the next couple weeks, we got some exciting things coming down the pipe. Hopefully. I did message Mark from Steelers Nation Australia. If you haven't checked out his channel, go ahead and do so, and make sure you subscribe there also. But he's coming in for the Steelers-Chiefs game on Christmas Day, and he's going to be here for an extended period, a little bit of time. So I offered, hey, maybe I'll drive down there. Maybe we could do some type of content. So maybe that will happen. We'll see. Never know. We'll see how schedules align. Maybe something like that will work for both of us. So maybe that would be cool. So that's something. And also, I'm working again, like I told you guys, on a guest for next week. Hopefully that all happens and that can come in to play, especially in a big week with the Chiefs coming to town at Acrisure Stadium. Hopefully it'll be an exciting week filled with different and exciting content with some different faces maybe out there. And also, don't forget, Sean will be joining me pre and post game, all that good stuff here as we approach the Christmas holiday and what is going to be an exciting time to be a Pittsburgh Steelers fan. Let's get back in the chat. Let's keep going. Mean Green. Let's go beat the Ratbirds and get another division title. I love it. Beers and cheers to the mob. Hells yeah, yuns. Hello, it's Tristan again. What's up, Tristan? How are you, Miss Pittsburgh? Lamar going to come out there with them tricks. Yeah, he's going to come out there and maybe find out. Wave that terrible towel for Miss Pittsburgh. Let's keep going. Downtown John Broadway. We can't afford to wait and see to the second half. No, that second half bullshit where you come out flat in the first half. they really got to kind of sweep that out of their game plan, man. They got to get that out of their heads. They got to really start to focus from snap one to snap the last snap, and the Steelers can't afford to have to wake up in the second half. I understand, they're trying to fill that team out that they're playing, but the Steelers, you heard Russell Wilson in Hard Knocks, guys. Oh, excuse me, sorry about that. I had something pop up on my computer. You heard Russell Wilson in the Hard Knocks episode that was just put out here. You heard him talking to Mike Tomlin in Philadelphia. What did he say to Mike Tomlin? We got to stay aggressive. We need to stay aggressive. And they didn't do that, guys. And that's what Russell wants. They want to stay aggressive. Why does Russell want to stay aggressive, guys? This is so simple. That's why when we get these complex questions sometimes about schematics and things of that nature, you really got to answer it with this. Football is a simple game. That's right. It's very simple. And when you overcomplicate it, that's when you begin to get into trouble. That's when you begin to get into tough and difficult situations. And when Russell said, I want to stay aggressive, coach, I got to stay aggressive and we'll be fine. When they went away from staying aggressive, that's when you saw the problems rear their head, and they did rear their head, and they were difficult for the Steelers to overcome, and that resulted in a loss. But the Steelers gotta stay aggressive, and they need to go aggressive early, guys. And sometimes, yes, you live and die by that, and you pay a price sometimes. But if you're Mike Tomlin and you have so much damn faith in that defense, you put all your stock into that defense, no matter what the game situation is. You always take the ball out of the offense's hands in favor of the defense. That's Mike Tomlin's MO, man. Like it or not, that's what he does. So if that is the case, and you have so much faith in that defense, so much respect, so much confidence, what should you do if you're Mike Tomlin to even things out a little bit? Trust in that offense a little bit. Allow them to be ultra aggressive. Allow them to push the ball down the field even without George Pickens. Push the ball down the field. Take chances. Be exotic in your looks. Be different. And really, again, simply be aggressive. And when you trust that defense so much, you shouldn't have a problem doing that. And I think that would balance things out for the city of Pittsburgh a little bit and their football team. I think that would balance things out in the way for the good. And yeah, some people don't like to be too aggressive. They don't like to take chances. Well, I'm learning as a football coach, in my time as a football coach here over the last 3 or 4 years that I've been coaching, I am learning that. I come out sometimes, and I have been very uptight in my game plans, very uptight in my approach. I want to make sure that I'm very disciplined, fundamentally sound. Yes, I understand that, and I think that's very important. But what I want to do more of, and what I found to work a little bit better, is come out swinging, man. Come out being aggressive. That doesn't mean you bomb it on the first play of the game every game. You can run the football still, but you got to have that mix of aggressiveness. And if you don't have that, your game plan becomes stiff and rigid, and you don't got no flexibility with it. And that's where you start to get those problems, my friends. That's where the issues start to rise. So that's just my spill on how to stay loose and keep defenses on their heels, especially a Baltimore Ravens defense that's gotten a lot better over the last couple weeks. They've switched some players around. The safeties are different, et cetera, et cetera. Their approach is a little bit different here. It's back to more of a Baltimore type approach that they had years ago. But still, the Steelers could still take advantage of a defense that's had its moments. And when you're playing teams like the Giants, I think you get a little bit of a false sense of security on how much you've progressed. And that rang true for the Steelers also. When they played the Jets and the Giants and those teams, you got a little bit of a false sense maybe of what this team was able to do in terms of scoring and defense-wise, and I think that picture might have been skewed a little bit here with Baltimore over the last week in Week 15. All right, let's keep going. DJ Thomas, we have to score on an opening drive. Go to move, set the tone. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about right there, DJ. What your comment is, set the tone. Set the tone early, and that's what you have to do. You have to get those opening points, man. You need to open the scoring. You need to not settle for field goals every time you're inside of the team's 30-yard line. You can't settle for that. You got to take shots at the end zone. You got to put the defense back on their heels. You got to keep them guessing. And even without George Pickens, you still got to spread the ball around. And people will say, well, they're not open. I don't want to hear that. NFL open and college open and high school open, those are entirely different things, my friends. Players in the NFL aren't going to look open that are open. And Russell Wilson understands that. Russell Wilson understands what NFL open is. And again, the game plan just got to be tailored to that aggressive nature. The game plan's got to be opened up maybe a little bit early. The game plan's got to entail Russell Wilson pushing the ball down the field, whether or not you have George Pickens at your disposal or not. You have to take those shots. All right, guys, make sure you're double tapping that screen, hitting that like button here for us on Steel City Live. I'm your host, Jason, only on Mic Drop Sports. I'm going to get a drink. We are going hard early, man. Again, wave that terrible towel for Miss Pittsburgh. Oil up for the Eagles. Fly, Eagles, fly. Oil up. Why do you want to oil up? That's a weird thing to say, Brady. That's weird, Brady. Don't say that kind of weird stuff. But anyway, I hate to break this to Eagles fans, and I put a short out about it earlier. And this is no myth. This is no one-off. This isn't anything like that. The Philadelphia Eagles fan that threw the terrible towel and said, fuck that towel, and threw it out of the top of Lincoln Financial Field, that guy will end up being the most hated man in Philadelphia history, because he absolutely just put a hex on that football team. And if anybody wants to argue it, I got many examples of it. The curse of Myron Cope is real, my friends. It is real. And I understand a lot of people aren't superstitious in that nature. I'm typically not. But I have seen the curse of Myron Cope strike far too many times, my friends. Far too many times. The double yoy will get you. And when that guy did that, I said to myself immediately, what did he just do? Why would he do that? Anybody that's been recorded doing it has set their team up for failure, man. It's typically the players that do it. But this fan who did that to that towel on camera for the world to see just set something into motion that is going to implode that Philadelphia football team. I'm telling you, a good football team like them, you're going to see what happens, man. They're going to fail. They're not going to reach the mountaintop. I'm just telling you now. I'm telling you now. A team that should have probably represented the NFC in the big game probably won't. I'm just telling you now. And probably will have some misfortune happen to them. You will see bad bounces. You will see unlucky situations happen to them. The curse is real. The curse of Myron Cope is about to strike the Philadelphia Eagles. And it's not because they beat the Steelers. It's because of what that idiot fan in Philadelphia did. And you can tell him Jason said that he is a complete and utter fucktard. He is a moron. You just don't do certain things. And he did that certain thing that you don't do. You don't do it. Ask the Jacksonville Jaguars about that time last season when they beat the Steelers and they disgraced the terrible towel. Ask them what has happened to them. That's just one recent example. That's just one. I could give you a list, but I'm not going to sit here and waste that time. I'm just warning Philadelphia Eagles fans that, man, whoever that guy was, you better get him to some voodoo lady named Fran down in Philadelphia somewhere and get her to take the Myron Cope curse off, because I'm telling you, it's real. It is so very real. All right, let's keep going. Yes, fly. Cursed Eagles fly. Let's go, people. Hit the shit out of the like button and subscribe to the best show in the universe is here. Let's go. That's for Miss P. Absolutely. Thank you, Miss P. Arnaldo Alvarez, let's go Steelers. Jason Peters, no Mahomes, Xmas Day. LOL, Chiefs don't need him. Resting time. Big Ben is Jesus. No, Big Ben is not Jesus, but he was a good football player. Joshua Shields, good evening, ladies and gentlemen of Steelers Nation. That's from Joshua Shields. Good to see you. Jason Peters, Wentz just needs to win one of the next two for Kansas City. I could care less what they do in Kansas City, Jason. I'm just playing, man. Without Mahomes, man, it's going to be difficult, and he's the best quarterback in the league. It's going to be a very tall task, and time will only tell what happens. But Carson Wentz is going to have a difficult challenge ahead of him, man. Challenger 22 in the house. I was just watching Paul Zeiss. He said Ravens have more riding on this game than the Steelers do. I totally disagree. I could see why he said that, but I could agree with you, Challenger, that I believe the Steelers have a lot riding on this. Now, this does mean a little bit more just this Saturday as what the Steelers could achieve with a win. If the Ravens lose this, they are clawing, my friend. And if they get to 6 losses, it might be difficult to continue on the path to make the playoffs, depending on what's in front of them, We could look at that Bengals or that Baltimore Ravens, their schedule here. Let's look at the Baltimore Ravens schedule. I'll bring that up. Baltimore Ravens, let's see, schedule. Let me try to bring it up. I'll try to bring it up here in a minute. I'm trying to get it. Sometimes my computer's a little wonky, too. It's like thinking. It's thinking, man. But in the meantime, make sure you're double tapping that screen, hitting that like button for us here on Steel City Live. As always, I appreciate everything you guys do. Thank you so much. We'll wait for that thing to think there. I got like 10 tabs running, so it might take a minute. Let's keep going here in the chat, and then we'll look at that. But yes, they do have a lot riding on this game, Challenger. You figure, though, you get to 6 losses, man, you have no more margin for error. You have the Bengals who aren't even mathematically eliminated just yet. So this thing could get interesting, man. That's why I say, the Steelers, yes, they secured their playoff spot. But getting this division title is of utmost importance, man, to them. Now, it is what it is. Yes, it's difficult to go on the road in the NFL. That's why you want that home playoff game. But if you aren't the 1 or 2 seed, typically it's pretty difficult for you to get to the Super Bowl because no matter what, you have to go on the road, usually a couple times, So, yeah. Hopefully the Steelers can continue to get this division title here, continue some winning ways, and really solidify that home playoff game because I think it's very important to have one. But I can see what Paul's talking about, definitely, and we'll continue to talk about it once I get their schedule up. Jason Peters says, happy for you all, though. Wilson/Pitt, success this season. Yeah, it's been definitely successful. Definitely, but thank you. Downtown John Broadway, I think that Russell Wilson now knows how this rivalry goes, how he needs to attack, and look at the middle with our receivers/tight ends. Yeah, I think he understands what's going on inside of this division. See, Steelers, quit asking me what my dream team is, bro. I don't know. I hate to be like that. I love you, C Steelers. I love to see you in the chat, man. But I do not waste my time with those things, man. I don't. When people come on here and say, give me a player name for an edit, I think that's dumb. When people come in here and say, give me a shout out, I think that's dumb. I don't do those. I just don't get into those things. I don't do the fantasy stuff. I talk X's and O's. I talk football. I talk the real important issues about football. That's just really what I'm into. Again, I'm not being mean or anything. I love seeing you in the chat always, dude. And I appreciate you. I'm just not into that stuff, man. It's just not my thing, bro. On Saturday, you should watch the Steelers game, but I have a broadcast with it live. I watched the Steelers game. I didn't know you broadcast it live, bro. I'll stop by and give you a like or something, man. I'll try to find your channel and I'll give you a like or something and comment, okay? I'll do that for you, though. I always like to help out with that. But I don't watch live streams like that for the game. I'm so very into that game. And again, I've told you guys before, I typically watch it with my kids. Like, I'm at the house, I'm screaming. I don't want to hear anybody else's reaction kind of deal. I just kind of zone out on the game. You know what I mean? That's what I do. But I will stop by and hook you up with a like and all that kind of stuff. Miss Pittsburgh, wave that terrible towel. If you're not subscribed, like the video. What are you doing? Well, yeah, what are you doing? If you don't like this video, I don't know what you're doing, man. Double tap that screen. It's free. It's easy. Shit is cheap. It is so real. You cannot mess with the terrible towel. It's cursed. Amen. If you mess with it, you are going to have a issue. DJ Thomas, if I'm not mistaken, the Steelers don't have a TD on an opening drive all season. Also, I think we're ranked 30 plus or last on first down and second down. There is a real problem. Yes, absolutely. The Steelers do rank very poorly in those situations. However, they rank very good on third down. I believe. I don't have the numbers right in front of me, guys, so I'm not going to sit here and act like I know them off the top of my head, but I do know that they lack in first and second down conversions, and it's a troubling statistic, no doubt about it. They don't, I believe, and if they do, it's only one, but I think they might be the only team without an opening drive touchdown. They have field goals in the opening drive, but no touchdowns, I believe. It is difficult. And that's, again, what we got back to earlier in the show. That was that aggressiveness that the Steelers aren't pursuing early and often. And just throwing one big go route or something, in the first quarter, some random spot, that's not being aggressive to start the game. And I'm not, again, saying that you need to bomb the ball every damn series or be crazy with it and over the top. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that you need to run some drag routes, get your players in space. You need to run some flag routes. You need to run a go. You need to run a hitch or two here that are 10 to 15 yards out. You need to do some different things, man. Just running the ball straight downhill with Najee Harris on first down and 10 from the opening snap just doesn't work, man. And honestly, I hate to continue to beat a dead horse, but Jaylen Warren's got to be involved a lot more. He's got to receive the line share of the snaps. And if the Steelers don't recognize that really, really soon, I think it's going to be a very difficult road to travel to have playoff success. Jaylen Warren is a heavy hitter, man. He can get you a home run from anywhere on the football field. And I think Jaylen Warren has to be given some more opportunity. I'm not saying that he needs to get every damn snap. I'm not saying Najee needs to be benched. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that he's got to get some more snaps. He's got to get more involved. But I think the big thing is getting that tight end room involved. And I think the other big thing is getting some other players in that wide receiver room more involved. They got Calvin a little bit going, but they go away from him quite quickly. Yes, I understand George is the lead dog, but man, you got to spread the ball around a little bit more. And you got to quit the bullshit with Pruitt and Patterson. They got to be excluded from the game plan. The only time those two players should be in the game offensively is at the end of the game when the Steelers have a tremendous lead and you're trying to preserve your starting players. That's the only time that those players should ever be involved in the football game in terms of offensive snaps. I'm sorry, it doesn't work. The experiment doesn't work. And Arthur Smith's weird obsession with them has to stop. And if I'm Mike Tomlin, I go into that room and I tell them it has to stop. I want my players in there that are the stars. I want the guys in there that can get it done. I'm tired of watching bullshit football. And I don't know how much Mike Tomlin is behind some of the things that go on with the Steelers' ultra-conservative nature, the weird way they rotate the roster in on offense. I'm not sure how much his hands are in that pile. But it's wrong, and he knows it. We know it. The league knows it. And the league, these teams that are playing the Steelers love it. They love to see McCole Pruitt come out there. They love to see Patterson come out there. It's almost like gimme plays. They know they're not going to move the football. They know they're not as athletic as those guys once were. McCole Pruitt hasn't lit the world on fire with his statistics over his NFL career. Come on. I don't know why all of a sudden Pittsburgh At this stage, this late stage of his career, all of a sudden the Steelers want to try to feature him in certain situations. It's like the guy's never been that player ever. And throughout his career, he's had very limited success through the air. So what the fuck are we doing here? Things just don't make sense. Daniel Warman, Steelers win this game. I agree. The Ravens need this more. It's going to be a great day for the millions of the best fans in the NFL. The millions and millions of fans around the world. Good to see a big Daniel Warman in the house. Scott, you are absolutely right. Charles B., hello from Atlanta. We finally got Michael Penix starting. I think that's probably the best thing for you, man. What's the situation? Is his cousin hurt? I haven't been following him really. Penix might be better. I don't know. I just think that he was drafted a little bit too high. But it is what it is. I hope he works out for Atlanta fans, I feel so bad for Atlanta fans after that Super Bowl loss to the Patriots. You don't mess with the terrible Tau. Priestess Peter Bruh made we beat them. Scott 28-10 Steelers, Challenger 22 2008 Titans. Yeah, ask the Bengals. Yeah, a lot of them. Wave that terrible towel for Miss Pittsburgh. Hey, we need to make one that says the Myron Cope curse is real. I'm going to make an emoji for that. Scott, here we go. Steelers, absolutely. Danny with the emojis. Yeah, Sean should be here Sunday. Houston and Cleveland. We have KC and the Bengals. Okay, so yeah, my thing's still spinning up there, man. I got too many things running. I don't want to close any of them. So Challenger told us here they have Houston and Cleveland. Those could be two tough challenges. The Browns already beat the Ravens once. The Texans are still making sure they're trying to fight for their place inside of the playoffs and solidify the division. I think they're going to win their division, of course, but they're still trying to win ball games, man. So that could be two losses. And we have KC and the Bengals, which are very two tough, very big ball games, actually. I think if I have to pick who has the harder schedule, the Steelers definitely have the harder schedule out of the two. But who could wind up losing a couple games? The truth is, both of them. Challenger says, I heard Mahomes was okay. I don't know. I ain't done enough research into it. I'm just going off of what you guys said in the chat. I don't look ahead to KC week until we're in KC week. Right now, I'm in Baltimore Ravens week right now. I'm in Baltimore mode. That's what I'm looking at. That's how the team I'm putting eyes on. I'm not putting eyes on Kansas City because that's next week's challenge. That ain't this week. And again, guys, we as fans in Steelers Nation look too far ahead, man. We get too far ahead of ourselves. We want to talk about all these things that are way out in the future. I get asked all the time about like draft questions for 2025. I get asked about free agency next year. I get asked about contracts for next year. Guys, live in the moment. Quit trying to make your life fly by. Quit trying to push the energy out of the room, man. Enjoy the moment that you're in and savor what moment you're in right now. And don't look too far ahead. And again, when these reporters ask these questions, even that are questions that are for a later date, don't do that to those football teams. Don't do that to those players. Don't try to get them to think ahead, man. You want to keep them focused. And one thing that Mike Tomlin says that is very, very true, that is very, very perfect to say inside of that building, it's that we are singularly focused on one task, and that is this week's job. That is this week's game, and that is what the Steelers got to be focused on. That is what the Steelers have to have laser focus on. And looking ahead is not productive. It's just not productive. You got to live for the moment, man. You got to live for the now. Yes, but in football life, there's other things that planning ahead is good for. But in the football world, in the sports world, you can't look past your opponent. You can't look into the future. You have to look at the now. And that's why I say the Pittsburgh Steelers, what I'm focused on, when people ask me those questions, I always kind of defer them out to a later date because we're going to talk about those ad nauseum this summer. We're going to talk about them after the season's over. And those things are going to be nauseating to talk about. Football Kid 806, I'm a 49ers fan. Zachary Frazier. Do you think Warren is a better back? Absolutely, Zachary Frazier. I wish you were the real Zach Frazier because I'd say email me at MikeDropSports@yahoo.com. You could come on the show. We could talk a little Steelers football. I live in Morgantown, West Virginia. I just got to see your locker a few weeks ago at the WVU Stadium. I got to see your NFL locker room, and I got to see your locker, Pac-Man, all those guys that are from WVU. So I got to see you guys in the lights, man. I got to see your placard and stuff if you're the real Zach Frazier, which I know you're not. I'm just talking. But anyway, Miss Pittsburgh, where can we find you? See Steelers. Zachary Frazier, thank you, man, for answering my question. Mark Collins, good evening. Zachary Frazier, whatever happened to the guy from the Jets? What guy are you talking about? I'm not sure. Oh, Mike Williams. He's still there. They just don't use him for anything. Now, if you'd have watched practice last week, you'd have said to yourself, my Lord, Mike Williams is going to be a major part of this game plan in Philadelphia. But he was not, dude. I don't know what happened there. Again, I thought he was going to be really, really involved. But the Steelers definitely threw a curveball there and didn't put him in really, give him targets at all. Tomlin won't listen about this. No, he don't, Tanya, and that's an issue, man. He's kind of stubborn in his ways, man. Douglas Ball in the house. If I see one more toss to Najee or another kick return from Patterson, I'm going to throw my TV out the window. Wasted plays. Guys, I've been preaching it here for a long time. I've been preaching it since the offseason, and I know people got excited when you saw a couple runs in the preseason from Patterson. Oh, he's going to be a machine. No, Jaylen Warren. Yes, when Jalen's hurt, it's fine. Put him in, do what you got to do, get through the injury. But when Jalen's healthy, there is no reason to ever see a handoff to Cordell Patterson unless what? Unless Cordell Patterson is in a game when the Steelers have a tremendous lead and they're preserving their real players. That's the only time you should ever see him get a handoff. Oscar, what's up? How are you, my friend? I'm doing very well, my friend. Good to see you in the chat. Mark Collins, we need to start putting both Harris and Warren in at the same time and run more downhill runs instead of that effed up stretch. Yes, I agree, Mark. I wouldn't mind seeing double back sets, double side cars. You can even do that with the tight end. Bring in one of the tight ends. If say you're in a double tight end set, what you could do if you're the Steelers, and I think it would be very interesting. And I'm not sure what you guys think about this. And I know the Steelers probably aren't this exotic or really want to be different in anything that they do. They're kind of stubborn in their ways. But if you're the Pittsburgh Steelers and you're coming out in that jumbo heavy set, one way to make it a little bit different, one way to make a defense maybe guess a little bit is to shift that whole formation before you start into your cadence. Come up to the line of scrimmage, look like you're in that 12, 13 personnel heavy package, but the tight ends that you have in there, make sure it's a Connor Hayward, Darnell Washington, and Pat Freiermuth, Najee, Jalen. I'm just saying mix these bigger body guys, these guys that are heavy runners and things of that nature. The big ground and pound guys, the guys that are bigger pass targets, and have them all switch out into their formation a little bit. Spread two of the tight ends out into like a wide receiver set. Bring guys back into a double sidecar with Russell Wilson. Just different things to kind of mix things up a little bit. Maybe run, passes out of that, but you could run out of that also. Just be a little bit different. Don't just be so predictable. Just don't come out there and be in that traditional formation is what I'm trying to get at. Come out and do different motions. Come out and do different shifts pre-snap. Come out and recognize what defenses are doing early and try to get some different matchups if you're the Steelers. And I think Russell Wilson has to focus on that this week, putting his players into successful situations, especially if you're minus George Pickens. That makes things. Russell Wilson's intelligence here without George Pickens is imperative, guys. Because pre-snap identification of matchups, that's the key here. That's how you beat that, maybe perhaps lack of talent when George isn't in there, to where you don't have that tremendous pass catcher in the game. You gotta think. You gotta beat them with your mind. You gotta play some chess out there, and you gotta create the mismatches yourself. And you can't rely on George just beating anybody out there. You can't rely on a double team on George, which is gonna free up other players. You can't rely on that crutch, and you gotta do it yourself intellectually. John Broadway, this argument of why, and how we all see what we don't use, Jalen Edwards Moore is beyond everyone except for our opponents. I'm not sure what you mean by that. Oh, of like who we don't use. I get what you're saying. Okay, I get it now. Yeah, it is what it is. You just gotta, yeah. They don't hear us. They don't give a shit what we got to say. I hope one day maybe Mike Tomlin stumbles across Mike Drop Sports and maybe gives a listen. That would be nice. Wave that terrible towel for Miss Pittsburgh. Mark Collins, I'm from the East. I'm from East Liverpool, Ohio. Steelers win 27-23. Danny George, your microphone is crackling, Jason. Huh. Maybe I got it too close, Danny. Let me know if it stops. WSP man is pick and playing this week. I hope so, Kevin. Inger in the house. I think the Ravens should waive Deontay Johnson. They may. I don't know, Inger. I don't know your roster in depth. I don't know what the options are there. He doesn't play anyway, so I don't think it matters. See Steelers, what do you want to see from our team, like players on offense and defense? I want to know, like, what do you want to see this game? I want to see the Steelers come out, what I was talking about earlier, be aggressive. I want to see them come out and really apply pressure to that defense in Baltimore. That's what I want to see. I want to see Russell Wilson, again, use his intellect to create mismatches, to create those matchups that are necessary to succeed. That's what I want to see. What I want to see on defense is this. Those outside linebackers, I want to see them take control of this game. I want to see them funnel Lamar Jackson into the center of that Steelers defense where players like Cam Hayward, Larry, well, not Larry, I don't think he'll be playing, Keanu Benton, Cam Hayward, those guys to get those tackles and sacks of Lamar Jackson while he tries to escape, or an Landon Roberts to come up and really smack the shit and smack the taste out of Lamar Jackson's mouth. That's what I want to see. I want to see that Steelers secondary be able to play both the pass and the run, because I think, again, the Ravens are going to come out, try to get Lamar Jackson on the move, and throw that deep pass game. And I think that is something that they expect. Again, guys, you're getting a little bit different picture of what this Ravens team really is when they went against that Giants team. It's a little bit of a farce. I'm sorry. It was the same thing for the Steelers when they played them. Gav Max, Steelers suck. They're 10-4, bro. What's your football team's record? Kevin Lynch, if the Steelers win Sunday, I'd play the starters just one half of the rest of the season. Yeah, I guess it just depends on what you're playing for, Kevin. How much of a chance do you have to be the number 2 seed? Did you beat the Kansas City Chiefs? I think this, guys. If the Steelers win Saturday against the Baltimore Ravens, I think you go into that game on Christmas Day against the Chiefs and you go balls out, man. You try to win that football game. If it looks out of reach, in the second half or something, sit your players and rest them for the rest of the year. Because honestly, if you don't beat them, you don't have a chance to become that number 2 seed. And literally, I just think it would be a waste of time, And honestly, too, once it's definitively told to the Steelers, hey, you are locked in at this spot in the playoffs, say they beat the Ravens, they lose maybe one more game and they say you're locked in, get your players out of there, dude. Don't fuck around. That's what I think also, Kevin. Challenger 22. You mentioned Carson Wentz winning games for KC. Why I mentioned Mahomes, I heard, was healthy. Oh, yeah, I seen it in the chat. That's what I was saying. I was just going off of what you guys... I don't know, man. I understand why you were saying it, Challenger, for sure. I don't know. Is my microphone still crackling, Danny? Let me know. I'll try to pay attention there on that chat because I'm way behind in this one. Let's keep going. I think Jalen is the best running back the Steelers have. I do too, Roberta. Good to see you, Roberta. DJ Thomas. Mark Collins, you're 30 minutes from me. Wave that terrible towel from his Pittsburgh. Oscar says Arthur Smith wants all his Atlanta Falcons players on the field all the time. It's irritating. It is irritating, Oscar, and I think it's a grave mistake, man. Yes, it is crackling still. Shit. I don't know, guys. Hold on. I don't know why it would be crackling. Let's do this. Let me unplug it. All right. Let me know if that helped it. Let me know. Somebody put in the chat. I would too, DJ. I would too. I would start him too. Did that help it, guys? Let me know. I just hit it, though, so don't take that as a crackle. Let me know if that helped it. Roberta says, I feel that is one thing wrong with how Arthur runs the offense. He tends to use players he feels comfortable with, not the best players the Steelers have. I am not sold on his play calling. Absolutely, I think it's a little bit of a problem, man. Son of a bitch, guys. Let me try this. Hold on. That helps. Let me know if you can still hear me, and let me know if it's still crackling. But anyway, let's keep going through the show. Hopefully, let me know if you can hear me, guys. Can you hear me? Okay, thank you, Douglas. All right, good deal. We'll use these for now. All right, let me push that out of the way. All right, guys, let's keep going. DJ Thomas, kiss it, keep it simple, stupid. As my coach used to say, don't overthink or try too hard. Do what you know and what you're good at. Let the chips fall where they may. Absolutely. I think that that's the mantra to live by if you're the Pittsburgh Steelers, man. The KISS method is definitely it. And this is something simple for the Steelers. I believe that your approach to football has to be simple. If you get too complex, again, guys, that's where you get into issues. All right, guys, we got to get that likes up here. So make sure you're double tapping that screen, hitting that like button, or hitting those three little white dots up in the right-hand corner of your screen. That will also drop the like box down there, and you can hit it. Again, it's free. It's easy. I don't know why people don't hit the like button. It drives me bonkers, but hit that like button, baby. It is easy and free. Some nights we get 60 likes. Some nights we get 24 like we're at now. Let's just get those likes to skyrocket up there into the YouTube algorithm. I truly, truly appreciate it. It definitely helps the show. Willie Johnson III. Guess who's back? It's me, Mike Drop Sports. Time to open up a can of whoop ass on the Ravens. From Willie Johnson III. Good to see you, Willie. Mark Collins Patterson is not a running back as a kick returner. They signed the receiver from Jacksonville. He can return punts and kickoffs. He runs decent routes. He's decent hands and fast as hell, 4.25. Yeah, man, we'll just see what the Steelers utilize. That's all we can do. We can't tell them what to do because they ain't going to listen. Mike Tomlin's stubborn, and he'd rather be wrong and then admit he's wrong. Roberta Campbell, he is not as bad as Canada, but he seems too simple, not fooling any teams. Yeah, he's got to mix it up a little bit. It's time to pull out the weapons, baby. Tom Ford in the house. What's up, Big Tom? Agnew is his name. Yeah. Robert Road, Mahomes has a high ankle sprain, very painful and very much limits mobility, taking a lot longer to heal than a low ankle sprain. Amen. And sometimes you can expedite that. Again, guys, we've talked about it with the tightrope surgery. So if that might be an option for Patrick Mahomes. I know he's had an ankle issue before. So we'll see what happens with that. Wave that terrible towel for Miss Pittsburgh. Hit that like button for us, guys. Downtown John Broadway. I just believe that Tomlin doesn't want anyone on the offensive side to overshadow him. Yes, his fear is real, and it's because of the offense heats up and starts to kick ass. Tomlin will get upset. I don't think that that's the case. I just think that this is what I think is the case for Mike Tomlin. This is what I think hinders him. And it's not that he doesn't want the offense to succeed. He doesn't want the offense to lose games. And that's what makes him that ultra conservative type coach, in my opinion. He wants to do what? Rely on that defense all the time. And it's not about overshadowing or doing well, because I think he would want that, no doubt about it, because it'd be easier to win football games. I just think he says to that offense and that coordinator that he usually has, whoa, hold back. We don't want to make any mistakes. We don't want to be too bold. We don't want to be too aggressive. But when your quarterbacks are calling for that aggressiveness and they want that aggressive play calling and they want to get in that rhythm, I think you got to oblige, man. And when you're playing in today's NFL, this isn't like the '05 Steelers. This isn't like the 2008 Pittsburgh Steelers. This isn't like those teams, those Super Bowls of recent past. This isn't those teams, guys. You have to be able to score points in the NFL. You can't lean on a defense and expect them to get a stop every series. You can't expect them to hold high-powered offenses to under 20 points. You can't win football games like that in the NFL. I understand that you can get away with it sometimes, and it does work sometimes. But if you want to be one of those teams that are in it when you're chasing the Lombardi, you got to be a little bit of aggressive in your play calling. You got to be a little bit different, and you got to lean on the offense a little bit. Roberta Campbell, hey, DJ isn't the Steelers' problem any longer, which is good for the Steelers, and they got number 26 from the trade for DJ. Amen, I love it. Hold on, let's keep going here. Shit. My chat went screwy. Hold on, guys. Hold on. All right, I found it. All right. No, I didn't find it. Sounds better, yes. Still crackling, okay. All right, guys, my chat's all messed up. I can't find where I was. So if I missed your comment and you want it to be heard, you can put it back in. I'm at John Broadway. It's time to say goodnight. See you later. See you downtown. Good to see you, brother. See, Steelers, what do you want for Christmas? I want a Steelers championship is what I want for Christmas. See, Steelers. Tall and Ford, the Steelers/Eagles game was the worst officiating I've seen all year. The Steelers were on a crucial fourth down close to the 50-yard line, and Jalen Carter punched a Steelers player. It should have been. Yeah, definitely, and it was before the punt. Yeah, that was a bad one, man. It was bad, very bad officiating. Roberta Campbell, do you think that Russ might actually want to re-sign with the Steelers, or do you think he will go to the highest bidder? I think he re-signs with the Steelers for a very reasonable price. Tom Ford, roughing the passer foul against the Eagles, but was not called. Absolutely, it should have been a personal foul penalty, no doubt. Waving my towel in Tampa. Are Yins staying warm up there? Yeah, it's not too bad right now. Let's keep going here. Roberta Campbell, I am taking it at this point. TJ playing is more possible than not. Yeah, he should be out there. Roberta Campbell, I think the Steelers won against the Ravens and Chiefs. It would be smart to sit the starters against the Bengals. Don't you think that too? I think that it would if the Bengals game didn't mean anything. If the Bengals game, if you win both of these games, and then you have that Bengals game there, and it means, hey, you win this, you're the number 2 seed. Or if you lose this week and the Chiefs win this week, they're the number 2, you're the number 3. I think then you got to go out there and swing for the fences, you know? So I think it's just a bunch of variables that we really can't look at until we arrive at that moment, because we're getting a little bit, again, ahead of ourselves here, guys. As Steeler fans, we want to live for the moment, guys. So I don't know. We'll just have to kind of see and wait it out, you know? Let me get a drink, and we're going to start winding things down. Yeah. All right, guys, I'm going to wind things down. It's about an hour in. I always stop at this time. So, again, if I missed your comment, come back tomorrow here for Steel City Live and get right back into the conversation. My phone's about to die again anyway. So, It's perfect timing. Again, we usually go for about an hour, roughly around that time. So I want to be consistent with that. Again, we'll leave some things to be desired for tomorrow. So make sure you dive back into the chat, guys. I love all your chat comments. I love the conversation. So we'll be back again tomorrow with Steel City Live. Hopefully, we'll get some more continued good news along the injury front for the Pittsburgh Steelers as we head toward that Saturday Week 16 matchup with the Baltimore Ravens, where the Pittsburgh Steelers can solidify that AFC North crown. So until tomorrow, guys, if you haven't subscribed, make sure you subscribe to the best channel on YouTube for football content, especially Steelers content daily, right here on Mike Drop Sports. Hey, go check out a short that I put out about the Philadelphia Eagles cursing themselves by one of their fans, disrespecting the terrible towel. I want to get that one out there into the YouTube algorithm. I want it to get hundreds of thousands of views. That way everybody out there knows why the Philadelphia Eagles are about to have some real bad luck. So make sure you get over there to the channel and hit that short and give it a like and a share. Again, like, share, subscribe if you haven't already. Until tomorrow, I'm Jason. This is Mike Drop Sports and the show Steel City Live. Peace, my friends.